your death, this nightmare finally ends. I'm keep chasing.
To a true display of...
I've killed countless thousands. What's one more?
A pocket of wills and struggle of strength. Resist the assault. Entertain me. Life is separate.
I'm thirsty. How quick are you?
Shadow, rise and fight.
I shall free you.
Feel death fall. A dazzling display of survival. Private show. Life is so precious. Keep your life going. Twin terrors.
Okay, hello everyone. This is my third take because something's wrong with my mic, but just wanted to go through my instacking Dorianis this league. I went a crit iteration, which I didn't really see on PoE Ninja, so kind of wanted to share what I've been playing. So let's just start with the setup, link setups. We'll discuss more on PoB, Tempest Shield, Precision, Flame Dash, pretty standard. I'm running Whirling Blades, Purifying Flame, cast 1 damage taken, and Power Charge on crit. I did decide to drop this Berserk Rage Reckoning setup. Aside from Simulacrum, you never really have Rage stacks. Pretty useless, in my opinion. Only really good to buff up the PoE ninja numbers. Not good in practice. This gives you a little bit more damage. I'm also going crit, so this helps me really cap my crit. I'm going Mark on Hit, of course Assassin's Mark, Molten Shell, Enhance. For my auras, Discipline, Wrath, Grace, of course the totems, and for my body I'm using Flicker Strike. You can use regular one if you need Frenzy Charges more, depends. Like Multi-Strike, Inspiration. I am getting my life leech here actually. We'll talk about this more when I go to the tree. Awakened Ellie, this is for just bossing. I use this to clear. And Nightblade, not anomalous. The rings is what kind of makes this build work for the most part. Minus mana cost is very important, especially if you're not using Mage Blood with this. We'll talk about this in a bit. Ellie damage, Lightning Res, Int. This is actually a ring that I gave to British Exile to reflect for me, and he hit this pretty good. I do need to upgrade this still to have another res, so I can replace this Ruby Flask. Here we have my other ring, just Int ES, Cold Lightning, plus mana cost unfortunately, but that's actually not a big deal because of how the math works in this game. With mana cost, as you can see, I have 0 cost on my Flicker. This costs 1 mana, and this costs 3 mana. For flasks, I go Diamond Flask, of course, to cap crit. This for now to just help me with res and reduce mana cost. I do want to switch to this eventually for metric, fuck ton of damage. If this has have minus mana cost, but I'll probably stop playing by then. This is pretty standard, and this is pretty important in my opinion. This is how I'm getting my stun immunity. I absolutely hate getting stunned, so I am using this. For the passive tree, it's pretty standard. As you can see, I do opt in for Quartz Infusion. Actually, let's talk about my defenses first. I do have about 60k armor with Molten Shell up, just about 60k with it off, too. This is pretty normal. I am 100% spell suppress capped. Stun avoidance from the flask, chill avoidance from the boots, freeze avoidance from Pantheon, shock avoidance. I have no idea how, so someone please let me know. Oh, it's this. Nice. Figured it out. Block chance not capped because it's not important in my opinion, because I do have 100% spell suppression, so even for those glancing blows builds that you get hit 25% of the time, for me, I get hit 42% of the time, but I mean, it's already mitigated by half, so pretty tanky still. Standard here, standard here. I am going Field of Flight. I don't want to take a note on this, so I kind of just opted in for Life Leech on Anomalous. Prodigious Defense, of course, just Reservation Clusters. I just happened to hit this one and kind of need, well, not really need more mana reservation, so I just want to use this for now. Probably change it out later if I still play. Corrupted Blood here, just Crit Mastery here. I'm not actually sure if I need this point still. I'll have to check PoE later. Crit, I'm going Watchers. I with Crit Chance, Discipline, Grace. The other good one, if you want, would be Block Chance by Discipline. Unfortunately, that guy that has it this league does not have it. It's not online for the last 15 days, but Crit and Suppression, almost 100% needed, unless you opt in to take these two nodes, maybe drop this node, maybe drop this node. But yeah, you definitely do need those two mods, I think. Yeah, Emperor's Wit, just standard large cluster. Bought this for about 15 divines when I was first playing this build. Split personalities, and yeah. Okay, so let's go over my PoB a little bit. A lot of it's kind of already discussed in the first part, but go a little bit more in depth here to some aspects. So we can see I have 23 million damage, pretty good. That is because I'm leeching. They are always on consecrated ground. Cast 1 damage taken setup. Of course, I'm elusive. I'm going Nightblade. Power charge on crit on my cast 1 damage taken. Frenzy charge. And I usually shock bosses for quite a lot. So I just kind of keep it at 30-ish. And if we change the Guardian Pinnacle boss, as you can see, damage doesn't really matter until the Uber. Quickly, my items. The Hands of Wisdom is pretty important. The base crit chance is really what's helping me here. So if we just put a regular Hand of Wisdom in action, we can see I lose, actually, not that much crit. I'm actually just finding this out about myself, my own build, because I made quite a lot of recent changes. The Watcher's Eye. This is pretty important. If we drop this, we can see my spell suppression is now at 88. Some options people have, you can drop these two nodes or a few other various nodes. Kind of go here. This gives you spell suppression cap. You do lose some damage, so I'm a softcore player. We do love damage. Of course, we go the Nightblade Elusive Masteries. This is giving me basically all our damage, and we are very, very starved on points. Turns out I actually don't even need the Watcher's Eye for crit. Wow, fantastic. Anyways. To typical elusive effect. Intelligence Mastery, I am going Emperor's Wit, and Thread of Hopes aren't too important as previous leagues with going your lowest res, since Reflected Rings are quite easy to get res. Some changes I've been thinking of making: I can take this node out, save some skill points, maybe drop one of these reservation nodes. I mean, of course, we just mentioned the crit mastery nodes. These are all changes. Not sure if you need this Emperor's Wit, but let's talk about now more Mage Blood. This is pretty important. Not much to say about it. I haven't actually tried this iteration without a Mage Blood. I've only decided to play this build because I got a Mage Blood from Gwenin, this league. Quite lucky. There are a few other variations I've actually been considering. I also have 2 setups for this build, which we can actually take a look. No, we cannot take a look. But originally, I was using a +1 Frenzy Charge shield, like this. This is obviously a much more damage-oriented setup, where you would actually drop Aegis Aurora, we would drop Glancing Blows, you go Arctic Armor over Tempest Shield, and that kind of really helps you because you're always stationary as you are flickering. For Pantheons, you kind of have a lot of options. Doesn't really matter too much for the minor god, but for the major god, if you can get freeze avoidance, you wouldn't have to use ranking. I just go this one, Unaffected by Burning Ground, simply because degens are quite annoying on this build. Might be able to go Zealot's Oath now that I have a cast 1 damage taken set up, but yeah, I think this build is very playable also on Trickster, simply because of this. This gives you a lot of freeze immunity, gives you a lot of flexibility, along with some base life leech over here. However, you do lose some spell suppression and onslaught, so you'll have to fix that where you can. And other than that, that's kind of it. Not much on the PoE. Most of it was discussed in the video. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys.